My name is Jessica McGee, and I am an environmental artist working mostly with reclaimed materials. And I'm going to work while I talk because I have somewhat severe anxiety, and it tends to have its up and down moments, and apparently making this video has really triggered my anxiety. So I'm going to work while I talk. One thing that's important to mention is that a lot of the art that I make helps me navigate my own mental health challenges. It's also helped me navigate my physical health challenges in the past. I find art to be incredibly healing. Anyway, I currently have an exhibit at Heartland Community College in Normal, Illinois, and the exhibit is called An Unblighted Area. And it is the story of an empty lot that became a garden and thrived as a garden, a community garden, for many years, and then was bulldozed to the ground for reasons that no one really understands. So my role with this garden is that my husband and I opened a business in 2009, and it was right across the street from this empty lot. And we wanted to be good neighbors, and so we, along with some other neighbors, formed a community association and built this community garden in this empty lot. And for about 6 or 7 years while we had our business there, the garden did great. And people loved it, and the community utilized it. There was live music, there was food giveaways, people just gathered. It was great. My husband and I closed our business in 2015, and even though we moved away from, or at least our business moved away from that neighborhood, the community garden kept going. There was still a community association to tend to the garden. In 2020, for reasons that no one really understands, the garden was bulldozed to the ground. And it was devastating. It was absolutely devastating to so many people. And we were given multiple reasons for the bulldozing from multiple city officials. No one really claimed to be the person that made the decision. Lots of finger pointing and blame going around. One thing that was said was that the garden had been left untended and abandoned for years, despite the fact that it had gotten an award from the city less than a year previously. So it was just really confusing and super upsetting. Anyway, one of the things that they said was that a new business was going on to this lot. And so that was in 2020. And so they put a no trespassing sign there, and no one was allowed to mess with this lot because a new business was supposedly going in. Fast forward to 2023, where I moved into the exact same building where my husband and I used to have a business. I have my art studio there. I am directly across the street from this lot, where there is no new business. There's also not a garden. There's nothing except for this no trespassing sign, which used to be red, but it's now been there for so long that it is now yellow. And so, because I have been actively discouraged from building a garden and making waves, I built my own garden. So when you see the exhibit, you'll see the no trespassing sign features heavily, and I've just built gardens around it. And because I am an environmental artist using mostly discarded materials, all of the flowers and the images are all made from discarded materials. I get the paper from people's party supplies. When they have parties and gifts are left over, they give me their paper. All of the wire is electrical wire that we actually cut out of my studio space when we moved in. All of the little bottles are liquor bottles that I collected from around my neighborhood where my studio is when I do my community cleanups. And I paired them with my own medicine bottles because I think there is a whole story there that could be told about people who self-medicate because they don't have access to insurance and doctors, and people who have the luxury of insurance and doctors. And I have anxiety. I am medicated for my anxiety. Before I was medicated for my anxiety, I was a little bit of a self-medicator too. And so I feel very strongly when people are very critical of folks who are self-medicating, that what a luxury it is that we don't have to medicate ourselves in that way. And self-medication is often associated with poverty. And where my studio is, behind me is a lot of poverty, and a couple streets over is a lot of wealth. And this is just my opinion, but I think part of the reason that the garden was bulldozed is because a lot of people who live in poverty utilize the garden as a place to gather and have community, and people who are wealthy don't really love to see poverty. So I have so many complicated feelings about this, and I've been navigating them for the last year as I have been putting together this paper garden. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. I hope you enjoy it. Please feel free to ask me questions. Message me with questions. I am more than happy to share materials that I used, my thought process, techniques. These are some paper flowers that I've been building this week. And yeah, thank you so much for paying attention to it. Thank you so much for letting me share my work with you. I really appreciate the opportunity.